Yeah, so just
Nausunod sa atin ngayon dyan, pwedeng tulog sa mga ganyan. Laguna tayo.
yeah, you're 2 or 3 minutes over. Yes, that's how it goes. Alrighty guys, you can please feel free to keep taking your photos and everything, but I'll just give you a little bit more information about this section. So this little area here, we call this Gandalf's cutting. And we call it that because the first time you see that little cutting in the movie is at the very beginning of Fellowship of the Ring, right after that scene that just played on the bus. Gandalf rides his horse and cart into Habbiton through it. And of course, you also see it when Bilbo runs off to join his adventure. And then you also see it at the end of Return of the King. When our hobbits come home, they ride their ponies right in through that cutting. And they ride it just along that track over there, past the yellow and blue doors. So those might look familiar to you from that shot, particularly the blue door is home to Mr. Proudfoot. He's a bit of a grumpy hobbit. He gives them kind of a disapproving look when they come back in, so you might recognize the door from that scene. And in this area, you probably noticed that we have some very different sized hobbit holes as well. But the green and the blue door over here look probably about what you expected something hobbit-sized to be when you came here today. But on the other side, the yellow and blue door, almost human-sized. And that is used for what's called forced perspective, because hobbits are only supposed to be about 3 feet tall. But of course, the actors playing the hobbits, not 3 feet tall. So they have to trick you a little bit. And one way they do that is they have Gandalf shoot all of his scenes next to hobbit doors, just like these two, which are built at 60% human scale. So if an average-sized person, such as Ian McKellen, stands in front of one of these, you look really tall. So take note of that. You can send that back to your family and friends too. But anybody who's playing a hobbit stands in front of those larger doors, which are built at 90% scale. So someone of average height stands in front of one of those, and you just look right at home. And then you will never see the two different sized hobbit holes in the same shot of the movie at the same time. And so your brain just kind of assumes that they're all the same size, and that hobbits are just a lot smaller than humans and wizards are. They do also trick you a little bit with the cart that Gandalf rides in on, because it looks like Gandalf and Frodo are sitting next to each other as they ride it to Bilbo's house. But in real life, Frodo was not sitting next to Gandalf. He was 3 meters behind him in that specially built cart. And because it was specially built and they had some fancy camera angles, they can make it look just like they are sitting on the same bench. And because he's so much farther away, Frodo looks a lot smaller, which is exactly what they were going for. They do also have body doubles as well, because they have to make you think there's a really big height difference between the hobbits and all of our taller characters like Aragorn, Legolas, and Gandalf. So if you see one of the tall characters' faces and you see the back of a hobbit, was probably a man named Kieran Shar, who you got to see on the bus a little bit, standing next to Elijah Wood, making sure it's a very seamless transition. And he is 4'2", so it definitely gives you that height difference. And he does play an Ewok in Star Wars as well. And then if you ever see the front of a hobbit and you see the back of Gandalf, you still have to keep that height difference. So he is a body double too, who is named Paul Randall, and he is a police officer from down in Wellington. He is 7'2", so extremely tall. And if you are like me and you are hobbit actor size, like 5'5" and below, if you stand next to someone 7'2", you will feel very much like a hobbit. That's exactly what they were going for. As we head up and see all the rest of our hobbit holes, this is only scratching the surface of it. This is only 4 out of 44. But keep your eyes out for what these hobbits have displayed in their windows and decorated in their gardens and painted on their mailboxes. Because all of our hobbit holes are totally unique, and they each have a little job or hobby that they do, and you can find lots of fun details that our set decorators put in. So it's a nice thing to look for. And we'll head right up this way.
Video lang. Discover pa tayo dyan. Ay, dapat ginawa nyo lang hotel na lang. Mga tanim ng ano, repolyo. Repolyo. Mailbox nila. Din. Damit nila. Yan ang tinanggal. Apple.
The Hobbit children really like to.
Yun, mga halaman na yan.
They like to eat the plum pig little stacks out of the plum pig. Peter Jackson thought that would be a really great detail to include in the movies. And so he had all of the apples and pears plucked off of those trees and all of the leaves as well, and had them replaced with artificial plums and artificial plum leaves instead. And after all of that effort, the only time you get to see these trees in any of the movies is in the extended edition of Fellowship of the Ring. They're not the theatrical versions at all, but in the extended edition you do see them for a whopping 6 seconds. And it's a sweeping shot. It doesn't get close enough to see a plum. So you don't get to see it at all. They put in all the effort. So now they're back to producing apples in Paris. You just have to take my word for it. It's not in the movies. But there's a lot of little details here that you'll probably notice that you don't get to see in movies. There's unfortunately not enough screen time. I would watch an extended edition, Peter. Please don't underestimate it. But you don't get to see all these little hobbits and their individual hobbies and all of these fun things. So that's why you all trek yourselves all the way down to this corner of the world in New Zealand so you can appreciate it in your life.
5-hour cuts for all the movies.
Isa lang siya.
Chicken.
Hindi. Chicken Joy. Actually, part ng ibon